Rocky Horror returns in a big way. Apple pie is back in a fried way. James Burrows and Clive Davis have left us. Ranch dressing and Heinz ketchup are the talk of FIFA. I keep running into celebrities in the wild. And we're officially halfway to Christmas as of tomorrow. This week on the Swish Edition.
It's your weekly pop culture roundup every Wednesday. The Swish Edition with Robbie and Walla Walla.
Town so nice they named it twice.
And Scott in Sin City.
Viva Las Vegas.
We've got all the pop culture silliness of the week you totally need to know. Brace yourselves. This is the Swish Edition.
Yeah, we're going to do a show for you. We're going to do an episode for you. We're going to make it hot. You know, it's 107 degrees here in Las Vegas.
It is only 88 degrees here.
Fuck you and your Washington State.
It's so warm, but yeah, not as bad as you guys.
How about them apples? You got lots of apples there in Washington State, right?
We do.
And wine.
And onions too.
Onions?
Walla
my
Walla
goodness.
onions are famous.
Had no idea. No idea. I'm going to come to the winery, the tasting room, and then I'm going to eat an onion sandwich.
Yeah, we got a lot of good produce here.
Love it. West Coast is the best coast.
Mm-hmm.
West Coast in the best coast. Hey, everybody, it's episode 521. This is Wednesday, June 24th, and Robbie and I are back. I'm in Las Vegas. Robbie's in Walla Walla, Washington, and I just love to say that. How much fun is it? Do you get a kick out of telling people where you live?
Yeah, and you get like interesting looks sometimes.
Walla Walla.
Some people are like, "Oh, okay," and then some people are like, "Where is that again?" And even people that live in the state of Washington,
They still don't know where it
they're
is.
like, "Where is that?" Or they're like, "I think I've heard of that. It's like from a Looney Tunes cartoon."
Or yeah, well, when we lived in New Mexico, we got a kick out of, I took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. Remember that?
Yep.
I think Bugs Bunny used to say that a lot.
And also Rancho Cucamonga.
Oh, that's a
Next
fun
stop,
thing.
Rancho Cucamonga.
That's a fun one to say. Anyway, happy official summer, everybody. I don't know if you know this. I know Robbie knows because he went to a special party. The summer solstice happened at 1:24 a.m. Pacific time this past Sunday. So it's now officially summer. I think we decided, Robbie, that June 1st was officially summer, but now it's really officially summer.
Well, meteorological summer is June 1st.
Got it.
And then official, calendar summer is the 21st. But unofficially, and especially for me, I think the first day of summer is Memorial Day.
Yeah, Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Yeah.
That's summer.
And the first day of summer, Sunday, and I knew it was coming because last week I was sitting on my couch and I looked at the clock because it was so bright outside. It was 9 p.m. I took a picture of my cat Whiskey looking out the window, and it was so bright out there. And I took a picture and said, "This is what it looks like at 9 p.m. in Walla Walla. Summer solstice is coming."
My goodness.
It stays light really late. I think you can still see some little fragments of sun setting all the way till like almost 10 o'clock at night.
Where you are, where we are down, because I'm much further south than you, we don't have as much sunlight as you do. So the further north you get, I think the more sun you get. Am I right about that? I think I'm right about that.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah. So up in Alaska, those poor suckers, the sun never sets up there. I remember going on an Alaska cruise and it was still friggin' daylight at 10:30 at night.
Yeah.
Crazy. Well, speaking of, what am I speaking of? Tomorrow. I thought this was really fun. We talked about halfway to Halloween. Guess what tomorrow is? Halfway to Christmas.
That's okay. I mean,
Yeah,
time
June
flies.
25th. I know, right? So have you started your shopping yet? Because you only have 6 months left.
I don't really do Christmas shopping anymore.
You don't. Are you a
No.
Jew? Are you a Jewish person?
No. CJ and I have just decided just not to do it.
You
Just throw
guys
the
don't.
money into the house
I know.
and
Well, I know you don't put up a tree because you're stupid cats,
yeah,
but you got to give not even one little token gift to each other.
no, we
Nothing.
just
Oh
don't
my
know.
goodness. Wow. Depressing.
Yeah.
I make Dale give me something, at least something.
We'll
I need,
share gifts with like some of our closer friends maybe just like, something small.
yeah,
And
a token.
most times I do send my mom something.
Well, you
Yeah. I,
should,
I
of
definitely send my
course.
mom something. Yeah.
Mhm. Hey, listen, big, huge news. And as soon as Robbie heard this, he said, I think I need to come back to Vegas in 2027. And I'm like, duh, there's always a good reason to come to Vegas. But this is huge news. The Rocky Horror Picture Show is coming to Vegas in a really, really big way. It's going to be at the Las Vegas Sphere starting sometime next year. We don't know exactly when. They haven't announced the date. But this is huge. You probably heard that right now at the Sphere here in Vegas, we have the Wizard of Oz, which has made over $400 million since it opened in August of last year. Amazing.
That's crazy.
Robbie, have you've seen it, right?
Well, yeah, I came to Vegas for my birthday last year in December, and we met up with some other friends, and we all went to go see The Wizard of Oz at the Sphere. It was
So
really
fun.
cool. Was glad that I did it. It was a fun experience.
And if you guys don't know, maybe you've been living under a rock. I don't know, but it's a 4D experience, the Sphere. It is quite something. I mean, 20,000 seats. The Sphere screen is bigger than a football field. It projects in 16K. Has over, this is mind boggling to me, 167,000 speakers. How is that even possible? And then they have sensory effects like wind and mist and scents that are piped in. It's quite something. So what are they going to do for the Rocky Horror Picture Show? I mean, it's going to be
I
something
I
else.
cannot wait to see what they do for the Rocky Horror Picture Show because I love the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I never really outgrew it. You know, I think every weirdo out there or, someone who's considered weird discovers the Rocky Horror Picture Show at some point in their teenage years.
Yeah.
And maybe if you're lucky, a little younger. My mom tried to show it to me when I was like, maybe like 12 or 13. It was on VH1 or something, maybe one of those channels around Halloween time. And I just didn't understand it. So
Right.
I was like, is this supposed to be scary? Because, I was a horror kid. So I was like, it's not scary. I don't know what this is. I'm not into it. But then, like, when I got to be like 16, 17, I got super into it. And in Norfolk, there's a theater called The Narrow. It's like an artsy theater, and they would show it. They used to do it every week. Then I think they switched it up to like once a month or once every other week on Friday and Saturday nights, and I would go sometimes. I didn't go a ton. I went maybe like, I don't know, a couple times a year just to see how the cast was changing. And, you learn some of the callback lines that you can scream out and just interact and go with friends. Maybe sometimes we would go before we went out to a club because it would start at midnight. You could go for like, and then leave to go to the club later. But when I was a teenager, before I went to clubs, I'd go with some friends. We just have a laugh and then go home. But no, I really love the Rocky Horror Picture Show. When I heard that they were doing that next, I was really excited. And because when they did the Wizard of Oz, they said, "Well, if this is successful, we'll continue with different films." I had no idea that they were going to pick Rocky Horror. I
No,
thought
me
maybe
either.
they'd pick something like Jaws or Indiana Jones or something.
Yeah, and my vote was for Star Wars: New Hope. I thought that was going to be the next one. That would be an absolute perfect movie for the Sphere. Um, And, they edit it down. So will they edit Rocky Horror Picture Show down to 90 minutes? Because they don't want anything to be longer than an hour and a half. So
Well,
I
because
don't
The
know.
Wizard of Oz was edited to be they took out some scenes. I think they took out some scenes that might drag, or I don't know. They took out for Wizard of Oz, they took out the Lions song
His song, yeah.
and a couple of other things, but I think they were just trying to keep it tight.
They tightened it up. Yeah.
Now
And I
with
didn't,
Rocky Horror, they could there's some things that they could definitely take out in that, maybe
for sure.
some of the numbers, but also my question is, so Rocky Horror Picture Show, I would not consider that family friendly, which is not an issue for me. Uh, but Wizard of Oz is super family friendly. Do you think the Rocky Horror Picture Show will take a hit financially because not as many people are going to attend it, because people want to introduce their kids to the Wizard of Oz, and there was a lot of families and kids when I went. That's not going to be the same crowd for Rocky Horror Picture Show.
And I'm
It'll be
fine with
way more
that.
adult, which I'm all about that.
I'm
But
all
I'm just
about that. This is
wondering
Las
if
Vegas.
is it gonna make as much money as like Wizard of Oz would make?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to find out, because it's certainly going to cost them many millions of dollars to turn it into what it needs to be turned into for that huge screen. So
And
they
I
have to
wonder how if
upcode it.
is Richard O'Brien. He's the creator of it. He played Riff
Yeah,
Raff in the film. He's the creator of the whole thing, even back to the stage show that
right.
came out, the musical that came out on stage in London before
Yeah,
the film was even conceived. I wonder if he has any involvement in this
that would be
happening.
wonderful. He's got to be old as fuck right now, right? He's got to be in his 80s.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I just want to see, will Susan Sarandon and Barry Bostwick be here for the premiere? And as you talked about on this show about a month or so ago, will they wheel out Tim Curry again? And you were thinking maybe they probably shouldn't do that.
I don't know if we discussed this on the show or not,
I thought
but
we did. Yeah.
speaking of Tim Curry, a friend of mine went to a screening of Clue. Clue is celebrating an anniversary last year. It was the 40th, I believe, the 40th anniversary, because it came out in 85. And it's been touring the country, but Tim Curry doesn't really travel much outside of the LA area, at least from what I understand, because he is in a wheelchair and he had a stroke, so he's partially paralyzed, but he can speak and his mind is there. Well, we think his mind is there because a friend of mine in San Francisco went to see Clue earlier this month, and it had Leslie Ann Warren in attendance. She played Miss Scarlet in the movie, and she's been the one that's usually been on the touring of this movie, because it's been in DC, it's been in other cities throughout the country. She's been the one there to do the Q&A with the moderator. Well, this time in San Francisco, it's very close to LA. Tim Curry was there, and he was also doing a Q&A, and he was, oh, there's a whole Reddit thread, you can look it up too if you want to hear the whole story, but Tim Curry was like, just didn't let Leslie and Warren get a word in edgewise, would go off on his own stories, not let her answer questions, talk over her, make jokes about things when she's trying to answer a question. The audience was was starting to turn on Tim Curry, which sounds impossible to do because he's so beloved. And but and then my friend Casey, he saw Leslie Ann Warren after the Q&A was over, and she was visibly upset, and she said that she went backstage and cried afterwards
Oh,
because the moderator was not doing his job. He wasn't reining Tim Curry in, and the audience was they were losing the audience. So that was disappointing to hear, but a lot of people were thinking Tim Tim Curry maybe couldn't hear well, or he wasn't getting the cues to let her speak. I don't know, but it it sounds very awkward, and I'm glad I was not attending that. But so that's just sort of what's going on there. So
all right. So
maybe he should not
let's not
attend.
invite him to the premiere here in Vegas for Rocky Horror Picture Show. As soon as we get that date, we'll let you know, and you guys can all make your airplane reservations and come join us for Rocky Horror Picture Show. I think it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's time for my favorite part of the show where we talk about Madonna again. Yeah,
Madonna,
we
Madonna,
we have been graced with so much good Madonna stuff this year.
weekly, weekly.
Weekly, I mean, she's really rolling this new album out, and she's focusing on the gay community, which is great. I mean, she knows her audience, and she's good at what she does. And the latest is she just was announced as she's on the cover of the famous Interview magazine for the summer issue. And the photos are pretty out there.
They're
They're,
fun.
they're quite fun. And it's not like anything you would expect. She's playing a character that she calls Dee Dee.
Right.
And let me read what she says here. So in the interview, so she calls herself Dee Dee, and it's a fun, hard-living broad who drinks prosecco, does her hair big, and listens to the Stones. And all the pictures, she's in different scenarios with this late 60s sort of Bridget Bardot hair. So it's very late 60s inspired, sort of a European look. But the person doing the interview was Mel Ottenberg, who's the editor-in-chief for the magazine. And you could tell that she likes him because she was very open and candid.
I know, we heard a lot of good things.
And this was a treasure trove of questions that got answered by Madonna that you might have never heard before. There were some that I didn't really. She gives you great detail on certain things that happened. Like, for instance, when she was able to give her tape to the DJ at Danceteria back in 1982 before she was discovered, she was pestering Mark Kamens, the DJ there, to play her tape for people that were dancing to see, if so, to sort of get her foot in the door and get a record deal of some kind, build up some excitement for this single. It was everybody that she had recorded on a demo. But it's sort of like she talks about how she pestered him and bribed him with some cocaine in the bathroom because she saw him doing cocaine in the bathroom, and she thought, well, if he likes that, I'm going to get some, and I'm going to try to get in there and get him to play my tape. And it's a great story. She talks about hanging out with Debbie Mazar there. She was there. She talks about another friend who she met there, one of her gay besties who died of AIDS later that decade. His name was Martin. And he's one of the people that she sings about on a song called In This Life on the Erotica album. But yeah, so like I said, and also this is her 11th time on the cover of this magazine, which is the most of any star.
Wow.
Right. So a couple of fun things that I got from this interview. So she confessed to having gray hair, which I thought was a very human thing for her to admit to. She doesn't like social media. She calls Instagram mesmerizing and also soul crushing, which I think we can all relate to that to
And
some degree.
Addictive. Yeah.
She admitted that she does have a bad knee. She has no cartilage in one of her knees. If you pay attention to her last concert tour, you can sort of see she has like medical tape there. It's skin colored, so it's hidden enough, but you can tell that she's got some issues with one of her knees, and she attributes it to years of dancing in high heels. Which, if you watch any of her old concerts, you think and wonder, how is she even able to walk anymore, let alone have one bad knee. But she was a workaholic. She was a workout junkie. You always saw her jogging. That's hard on your joints too. So that's what she attributes it to. But she talks about some of her inspirations, like David Bowie and Stanley Kubrick, which I didn't know that she was inspired by Stanley Kubrick for anything. And she does talk a little bit about her brother that she was close with, but was estranged from the last decade or so because he wrote that tell-all book about her. His name was Christopher Ciccone. And so ever since he wrote that book, they had a falling out. It was sort of like a mommy dearest type book. But she had reconciled with him before he passed away last year, I believe. She talks about how she was affected by the death of her stepmother, who she had traumatic experience with as a teenager. Like they just didn't get along. I mean, she was her stepmother. She talks about Lola and how they've had some strife. She didn't really say what it was, but they do sing a song together that's sort of about that. So that'll be interesting to hear. So yeah, there's a lot that was going on in this interview, and she was just giving it out, man. And she said she doesn't want to be naked anymore because everybody else is naked. So she wants to do the opposite of what people are doing. So she said she's going to keep her clothes on and start thinking because people just aren't thinking.
That's
But
good.
yeah, so it was a fun interview. I recommend anyone to read it. The cover looks great. It's very eye catching. It's not a typical Madonna shoot at all. Uh,
Yeah. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, you're not seeing any of the pictures because I don't have the rights to post them. So if you want to see them, go to interviewmagazine.com.
yeah, you can read the whole article online for
Yeah.
free.
And what about the movie news? I thought the movie news was interesting too, the biopic.
Yes, she did talk about that, and that's what's been getting splashed all over
Yeah.
the news outlets. Is that she does talk about the falling out with Universal over her biopic that she had spent years writing. So she said she spent a couple of years writing it, then a couple of years trying to get it off the ground with Universal. Financing fell through. She wanted a big budget. Universal didn't want to give her this big budget. So, but then she was thinking maybe Netflix did come calling, but she couldn't use the script that she wrote when she had the Universal thing going on. They said they'd sell it to her, but she didn't say how much, but she said it was like an exorbitant amount of money that she was just not going to do.
Ridiculous.
Probably out of
Yeah.
principle because she's got a ton of money. But but it doesn't sound like the Netflix thing is totally off the table. Could happen. They just needed to get a good writer in there. So, but what's definitely happening is there's a story arc on season 2 of The Studio that is sort of a play on this. I think in the world of that TV show that her biopic really does happen, and Madonna plays herself with Julia Garner in it too. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but something to do with the making of the biopic, or maybe getting it released at the Venice Film Festival because they were in Venice filming this scene.
I'm very interested to see how that plays out.
Yeah, me too.
It's crazy. I think the executives at Universal are idiots because I don't know why you wouldn't give Madonna, of all people, the budget that she wants for the movie she wants to make because,
They didn't say what numbers were thrown around or anything,
yeah,
but
no clue what those numbers were. I assume they were pretty high.
a lot of people were dubious about her doing the directing of this. She was gonna direct it herself.
Hmm. Has she
Sh
ever directed anything?
Yeah, she's directed a couple of movies,
Yeah.
notably the movie WE about, you know,
That wasn't great.
Ellis Simpson,
Yeah.
and, something called Filth and Wisdom. Nothing that was, like, major.
Well,
So she's
her
able to
movie
do it.
track yeah, her movie track record is touch and go. I mean, she's really only has a few good ones. I mean, Evita and Susan and
A League of Their Own, yeah. If you wanna count Truth or Dare, which is technically a documentary, but that was a success.
yeah, it was a huge success.
It's just if you look at the actual receipts, she's only really done like a dozen movies that she starred in. She's had a couple of big bombs. The problem is that the bombs were epically they were epic bombs.
Epic
So
bombs,
people
exactly.
remember them more, and
Right.
plus also there's always people that just love to see her fail. So of course,
Yeah.
there's a movie that flops and people are going to make a huge deal about it. Even though maybe it flopped, but it made a little bit of money, but it didn't make a ton of money like you thought it should have. Like there was Shanghai Surprise was her first bomb, and it was an indulgent project that she did with Sean Penn. So and they were in the media so much that people were just really happy to see them fail because you know they were in the media all the time. Sean Penn was beating up photographers. Madonna was becoming a global superstar. You had George Harrison, one of the Beatles, directing this thing, and Madonna is, I'm going to start by saying, I love Madonna, but she is pretty terrible in Shanghai Surprise. She's just miscast. She can definitely. She's not a horrible actress. She's not like one of the best, but I don't think people give her credit for what she can do. But she needs to be given the right role. She's not in Shanghai Surprise. She was playing a missionary.
Yeah.
It's not
No,
believable.
that was
The
ridiculous.
script was kind of crappy, and the movie was just kind of dull anyway. So I wouldn't blame her entirely on this.
The only thing she really, really, really hit it out of the park with is Evita. I mean, she really killed that one.
I think, yes, she was very good in that. She should have been nominated for an Oscar, at least nominated. Maybe she wouldn't have won, but she could have at least been nominated. But because that year, Frances McDormand won for Fargo. It's kind of
Yeah.
hard to argue with that one. But she did win the Golden Globe for Evita, though. So that silenced the haters for a little while. I think she's really good in an ensemble cast, with A League of
Yeah.
Their Own and Dick Tracy. She was great as Breathless Mahoney and Dick
Yeah,
Tracy.
that was fun. That's a fun
So
movie.
somebody that says all of her movies suck is really a generalization. That's just not true.
Right. What was the one that was the Basic Instinct ripoff? I actually
That
like that. I
that
I
was
like
called
that movie.
Body of Evidence.
I love that movie.
And she was doing her best Sharon Stone impression in
Yeah.
that movie. And it's fun, it's campy.
Yeah.
It's now considered like somewhat of a cult classic, and
Yeah.
it's over the top ridiculous, but it's entertaining, and I watch it every now and then.
And I like Who's That Girl?
I was gonna say, I love Who's That Girl? I don't care what anyone says. That movie is
Yeah.
super fun.
Yeah.
It's better than some of the other comedies that came out in the mid-80s that actually
Good.
succeeded.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. Watch Who's That Girl, and you're gonna have a good time.
I think so.
It's just silly and fun.
Cool. All right. Well, we can't do this episode this week without talking about two people that have left us, two people who really made a mark on two different industry genres. The first one I'm going to talk about is James Burrows, who was a legendary television sitcom director and creator. I didn't know this, and this is probably sad because I know this man very well and I know his work very well, but I did not know that Jim Burrows co-created Cheers. Did you know that?
I did not. Honestly, I did not know who this guy is. Such behind the scenes that I didn't
Yeah.
really know who he was until I was reading up on it.
Well, see, I've been aware of him for years, but I didn't realize that he co-created Cheers, and he directed every single episode himself of Cheers. If you guys don't,
I thought Will and Grace was the one he directed every episode of.
that one too, that
Yeah.
one too. So he got his start on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. He directed a couple of those. Then he went on to work on Taxi, the Bob Newhart Show, Rhoda, Laverne and Shirley. I mean, those early 1970s into the 80s sitcoms that we all know so well. If you're someone our age, in your 20s, you might not know these great shows, and I implore you to go back and watch them because they're some of the best sitcoms ever made.
Too bad Nick at Night's still not a thing.
I know, right?
That's how people my age got introduced to some of those shows.
I know, and TV Land is showing the reruns of the 90s and early 2000s. They're not really going back into the great shows of the 70s and 80s, which I wish they would do more of. But he also directed Night Court, Wings, Frasier, Friends, of all things. And as Robbie mentioned, every single episode of Will and Grace. He did Third Rock from the Sun, Two and a Half Men, Big Bang Theory, Two Broke Girls, Mike and Molly. And his last show, I don't know if you saw this, but I loved it. It was a Hulu show called Mid-Century Modern. Did you see that?
I attempted to watch it because it was a Nathan Lane and middle-aged gay men living together, sort of like the Golden Girls, which sounded very appealing to me. The first episode was kind of awkward and clunky, but I continued a couple more, but then it got canceled right away. So
See, I loved it. Linda Lavin was in it, until she died. She died in the middle of production, which was very
Yeah,
sad.
that didn't help things
It
either.
did not help things, but I loved it. I thought it was really great. He worked on that. And then he also did, playing himself. He was in Lisa Kudrow's The Comeback on HBO, which is one of my favorite shows of all time. I just think her character of Valerie Cherish is amazing. And he played a fictionalized version of himself in her series, HBO, The Comeback. So anyway, he's gonna be missed. He really was the sitcom director in Hollywood. So
Did they say what he passed from?
I don't know. He was like 84, something like that. So maybe just old and tired. I don't know. But
84 is not as old as it used to be,
it's not. You're right. People are
because the
living a lot longer now.
next person that we're talking about that passed away lived to be 94. Now that's old. And this was Clive Davis, the famous, he was the music executive at Arista Records, most famously, but also at Columbia before that and J Records after that. He just passed away this past Monday. And, you know, uh, whenever I think of Clive Davis, I automatically think of Whitney Houston because he famously brought her to prominence, and they were photographed a lot together. And he hosted a party at a Grammys party every year, and Whitney Houston died right around the time the Grammys were coming out. So she was in LA at his party like the night before, or somewhere right around the time she
Yeah.
passed away.
Well,
Um,
she died in the hotel upstairs before the Grammys started. Yeah.
yes, I think it might have been the night of his party, but I just always think of them whenever I think of Clive Davis. I automatically think of Whitney Houston. But not only did he uh, I don't know if he discovered Whitney Houston, but he definitely signed her. He did a lot of things in the 60s and 70s. He was instrumental for steering Columbia Records towards rock and roll, signing or developing talent such as Janis Joplin, Santana, Bruce Springsteen, and also Neil Diamond, Chicago, and Pink Floyd.
Jeez.
My mom loves Pink Floyd. Um, So in the 80s, that's when Whitney Houston and he was with Arista Records, and Kenny G, Sarah McLachlan, Air Supply, and Annie Lennox. He signed them. He helped launch TLC in the 90s and Tony Braxton.
Love me some Tony Braxton.
They said there was a saying that they said he had a golden ear. He could just hear talent. He could hear someone that's going to be huge. Helped to revive Rod Stewart's career in the when was that? The early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, when he kept coming out with all those American songbook albums,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
where he would sing the standards and stuff. Sort of helped him out. Man, so not only did he host those lavish Grammy parties every year, but he won 5 of his own Grammys, and he's been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
He deserves it.
Oh, now one thing that I thought was interesting, and I did not know this. I don't know how I missed this. I didn't know about this until I read his obituary, that he came out as bisexual in 2013 in his autobiography. Did you know that?
Just like Barry Diller.
Yeah. So, but he had been having relationships with men dating back to the mid 80s. So, good. Uh, Good on him for
For
coming
him.
out eventually, but and nobody really making a huge deal about it.
Right.
But no, so yeah, two big guys that were behind the scenes for the most part
Yeah.
passed away this week.
Well, and I thought it was really interesting. I saw an interview a couple mornings ago that he did a few years ago with Gayle King from CBS News. And I didn't know that he did not know how to read music, and he never knew how to play an instrument. He just, like you said, he could just hear good stuff, and he knew it was going to work.
He had a talent for knowing what was going to work.
Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
Because I mean, these names that I just rattled off,
Yeah.
these are iconic artists. These are
All
not
of
just
them.
just some somebody that had a couple of hits here and then they were done. No, these were like epic artists.
Yeah, all of them. I think he worked with Earth, Wind, and Fire too, one of my favorite bands from the 70s and 80s. So pretty amazing career. And to live to 94, I know he had a lot of health issues in the last 10 years, but he was I mean, I think he still hosted his Grammy party last year. So he was still up and running and doing stuff. So pretty amazing.
We could all be so lucky to live to be 94.
Yeah,
Depending on how well you are at those late years.
exactly. Well, last week when we were doing the show, I completely zoned out and forgot to tell a couple stories. And I want to tell them now because I think they're really great. I don't know. A weekend before last, Kristen was here. Kristen is the most recent co-host of mine here on the Swish Edition. You guys remember her? Robbie replaced her when she fucking quit. And I'm sure
It's
Robbie,
like I stepped into a role on a soap opera, and
I
I'm
know.
still the same person, but I'm just different.
The part of Rodrigo will now be played by Robbie Barnett.
Who looks nothing like the other person at all.
So Kristen was here. I was so thrilled to have her here. We did all the fun things. I took her to all the fun restaurants that we love here in Vegas. And we went to this most amazing show. I'm going to put up a picture of a nun. It's a nun um, doing hula hoops on her arms. And she has a ball in her mouth. You know what it is? It's a ping pong ball. And at one point, that ball goes somewhere, a hole on her body that isn't her mouth. And I won't tell you what it is, but this is a very almost X-rated show. And guess what?
She
I
was
have
only
here?
dressed as a nun. She wasn't really a nun.
I think she might have been really a nun,
What?
Robbie.
Oh, also
I'm
this
sure
ping
she
pong
was.
thing. Are you making the connection with the ping pong ball and a woman doing questionable things with it? And also
That's exactly what ha-
and also
that's
the
ex-
movie Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. Do you
That's
remember
exactly
that
what
scene?
happens. That's exactly what happens in the show. Okay, but look, I have a ping pong ball that I got from the show that was projected out towards our table.
No,
and
you have it. You touched
here
it.
it is. Here it is. Here
Oh
it
my
is.
God.
So you don't really actually see this happening, but it's assumed that that's what's happening. It's a really fun show called Atomic Saloon. It's at the Venetian, and if you guys are you like funny things and you're okay with R/X-rated shows, the very first song when we walk in, this is a very small venue, maybe 125 people max. Really
And you
great
said at
show.
the Venetian. You said Venetian, right?
It's at the Venetian in the Canal Shops, and
Okay.
such a fun show. It's the same people that brought you Absinthe, which is at Caesar's Palace, and it's just so funny. It's not for the faint of heart. I would not take my mom and dad to it. They would walk out. The very first song is about sucking dick, eating ass, and licking pussy. So,
And this nun sings it.
no, she comes
She's just
later in
one.
the
She's
show.
just one of the people in
She
it.
comes
So
later
this is
in
like
the
a
show.
this is like an X-rated variety show.
It's a variety show. There's
Now-
aerialists. There's songs.
Aerialists.
Yeah, that too. There's no boobs though. There's no boobs. I didn't see any boobs.
So is this show still going to be there when I'm in Vegas in July?
It's been here for quite some time. It's not cheap. It was over $200 per ticket, but
God damn.
yeah, because I
Good
think
Lord.
because
That's a lot of
it's
money.
a very small venue, but it is super super fun. Anyway, we had a really good time, so I wanted to tell you about that and show you my ping pong ball. It's not for the faint of heart, but I do recommend it. Then I want to tell you these two. So this is one thing I love about Vegas. And we've talked about this, finding celebrities in the wild, like just kind of accidentally running into someone famous, I think is one of the most fun things. I just love it so much. And it's happened to me a lot in my life. And Robbie and I are actually going to do a Swish Extra sometime soon about all the celebrities that we've met, either on an official basis or just in the wild. But just in the last week, I've met two people. One, I met Sharon Case. She plays Sharon Newman on The Young and the Restless. She's been on the show for like 30 years. And I've been watching her since day one, and it's one of my favorite soap operas. I watch it all the time. Anyway, Kristen and I were at the Resorts World bar, and she was sitting there at the bar just playing video poker and with a girlfriend of hers. And I did not bother her. I didn't reach out and say, hey, can I have a picture? Or, oh, I love your show. I said nothing to her. because I hate bothering people when they're not, on an official capacity of their job.
Or what you could do is you could just sort of treat her like a normal person and not know that she's famous and
Right.
just like drum up small talk with her or
Yeah.
something, you know?
Well, that's what I did with the second person. So I didn't have the nerve to do it with Sharon, but I do love her, and I'll throw up some pictures so you can see what she looks like. If you watch Young and the Restless, you definitely know who she is. She's married to Nick Newman on the show. But this past Sunday, I was at my local grocery store in Albertsons, which is, I think, the same as Safeway in some
It
other
is,
parts of the
yeah.
country. Yeah. And there was this woman in the way. I was trying to get a packet of mozzarella, and there was this woman in the way, and I was like, excuse me, I just want to grab this mozzarella. And I put my hand on her back and I like reached over, and she goes, "Oh, that is the best. I love that so much." It turns out it was actress Dot Marie Jones who played Coach Beast on the TV show Glee.
Does she still look like a linebacker?
She does. Well, she was an athlete, she
You know,
was an
you touched her
athlete.
back. She could have body slammed you if she
She
wanted to.
could have, but she was so sweet. She was so sweet. And we exchanged a few words back and forth, and I didn't tell her I knew who she was, but I just thought it was so cool. And then I get home and I'm like looking her up on Instagram and stuff. And it turns out she lives like right here, like right near my house. So
Wow.
she's a lesbian and she's married to a woman, and they live like right here. So
She's a lesbian. Like, no shit. Have you seen her?
So I love and so I know those aren't two huge people, but it was still kind
Hey,
of
that's
fun.
fun, you
It
know?
was fun for me.
Also, what if there's celebrities out there that love getting noticed, you know, and
I'm sure there are.
love the adulation and the recognition? I'm sure it all happens at the beginning, but
Right.
or maybe if someone's not a huge star that they like it when it does happen. I don't
Right.
know.
All right. Well, the next time I see her at the grocery store in the cheese aisle,
I'll be
I'll
like, it's
say,
you again.
"It's you, Dot Marie. How are you? It's good to see you. Would you like to be best friends?"
That's kind of cool. I
It
I
was
I
kind of fun.
I was friends with somebody who lives in LA, and he said he would run into Faye Dunaway at the local Whole Foods,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
but afraid to talk to her because she's intimidating. I
I'd
would
be
be
very afraid to
be
talk to her.
terrified to even look at her. She might
Exactly.
cuss you out or slap you.
That is
But
hilarious.
no, I would be amazed. But no, I don't really run into too many celebrities here in Walla Walla.
I bet you don't have very many. Well,
But there was a couple though.
really?
So you saw Breaking Bad.
Sure.
Remember the guy that plays, was it Pinkman? Was his last name Pinkman? I saw Breaking Bad, but I can't remember his name. Aaron something.
Okay.
He was here in town. Was it Aaron? What's his last name?
Put me on the spot,
Yeah.
but yeah,
J-
I
His
know who
name
you're
was
talking
his
about.
name was Jesse Pinkman on the show,
Yeah.
if I'm remembering correctly.
Okay.
It's been a minute since I've seen it, but he was randomly in Walla Walla, and one of my friends, her son, went up to him and was chatting him up because what his in-laws live here or something. And Brandy Carlisle has been here.
I like her.
I mean, I'm not starstruck by either one of these people, but she's here, and Bonnie Raitt was here once because she was doing a show here, and she was randomly in a restaurant. Uh, I didn't run into any of these people, but people I know did. It's a small town.
It doesn't count if it wasn't you.
Drew Bledsoe has a winery here, and he's around a lot.
I know that you still want to hear my story about how I stood and chatted with Cher for 20 minutes.
One of these days, I'm going to get that story out of you.
We're gonna do a whole special about it.
Yes, I would be
Well,
intimidated by Cher too.
I was a little bit. But she was just the coolest, absolute easiest person to talk to. And I was not starstruck at all. It was actually really cool. I'm not telling it now because we're gonna save it for Swish Extra.
Save it.
Hey, we're going to tell you why the FIFA World Cup fans are being denied their ranch dressing right after this.
This, my friends, is the Swish Edition.
There's no excuse not to listen. Swish Edition.
So the TSA is sounding the alarm over ranch dressing.
Stupid.
So ranch dressing is, I think it's strictly an American thing, right? I don't think it's really, it might be a novelty thing outside of the US, but it's strictly a United States thing. And now people from around the world are coming here for FIFA World Cup events, and they've been experiencing the deliciousness of ranch dressing. And they're losing their damn minds because maybe in England they don't have food that has that really does anything to your taste buds. I mean, I've been to
Right.
London a couple of times. Their food is not the best, but so you come here to America, especially if you're going to some place maybe in the South where the food is really good. Well, and then you put ranch dressing on everything. Then you go home and you don't have ranch dressing. You want to take some home with you. Well, it is a liquid. You cannot take it on a plane, maybe in a small amount, like the authorized amount that you can have.
Right. 3.4.
But you can't put it in your carry-on. So one European wrote on X, formerly Twitter, "Why did no one tell me ranch sauce is like crack? Europe, we need ranch ASAP." Well, also, this is another thing. This is why people in America are so damn fat. You
Right.
go to Europe and like I think there's not that many as compared to us, and it's things like ranch that's doing it, you
It's
know.
hilarious. Yeah.
So many have tried to get them on their carry-ons. The TSA had to post about it on their official Instagram last week. Their quote says, "If you're visiting for a very large sporting event and you happen to discover ranch while you're here, please pack it in your checked bag on the way home."
It's hilarious.
Yeah, so can't you order ranch on Amazon? I don't know. Can you do that?
Probably. Do they not ship it internationally? I don't know.
Okay, as an American who has experienced ranch, I mean, I could take it or leave it, to be honest.
too.
I don't really put it on anything, and if I have a salad, I usually use a different kind of dressing. But I can understand how someone would be addicted to ranch. I mean, I do like to dip carrots and broccoli in it.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
But you know what I like even better than ranch? Blue
What's that?
cheese. Blue cheese dressing is my absolute favorite.
So I didn't always like blue cheese. I have recently come around to it because, and you know how I came around to it was because a lot of these wine when you can pair blue cheese with wine. I'm talking about the actual blue cheese, like where you can cut it like cheese.
Yeah, yeah.
You can pair it with certain wines, and it's excellent, especially if you drizzle honey on blue cheese.
It sounds lovely.
Drizzle honey on actual blue cheese, and it's so good together. But yeah, no, as I get older, I do like things like blue cheese that have a little bit more sharper taste than something like ranch, which is just really for like, you know,
Dipping.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
really do much to the palate except for like over stimulate it and all the senses. You know, of course, anything's going to taste good that has a shit ton of salt in it
Right.
and fat in it.
Well, I just think it's funny that people come here, especially from Europe, and they think the things they love the most are IHOP, Denny's, the Waffle House, things that they just don't have in Europe, you know? And
Well,
they
none
think,
of those places are even good.
I know, but they love it. They think it's amazing.
Well, no,
Because
I love to watch the videos of British school children trying American food for the first time on video. Like you have them try fried chicken and they're like, "I didn't even know that I had these taste buds." Yeah, it's because you're eating mushy peas and fish and chips and meat pies and all that stuff every day.
Exactly. That's too bad. And well, unless you have a lot of money and you live in London, because London has some of the best restaurants in the world, so they've got
London does
all
have
of the
some good
stuff there.
ones. And
Yeah.
also they have a really good, well, you know, because a lot of London is pretty close to some other countries that are around there. There's a big Indian presence, and they have great Indian food in
Lots
London.
of Indian food.
There's an
Yeah.
area called Brick Lane that's just full of Indian restaurants, and it's a
Yeah.
fun experience to walk down there.
I've been there, and
Yeah.
I've eaten in one of them. I can't tell you which one, but yeah,
Well,
it
there's
was quite
all
amazing.
the restaurant owners and managers are standing outside trying to get you to come into their restaurant. So they're enticing you with all these good deals. Like, oh, come in here and we'll give you a bottle of wine for free. Then the one down the way is saying, come in here, we'll give you 40% off or free apps. And there's just, it was fun. It was like walking through a very pleasant gauntlet, try, people trying to get you to come into their restaurant.
because there's so much
I had
competition. Yeah,
never experienced anything like that in my life. It was so much fun.
it is quite something. And that's where London is where I got the idea for opening my store, Avenue Jack in DC, because I'd gone into a store that was very much what Avenue Jack became. And I was like, oh, this is fun. Let's go open a store like this in DC. And that's exactly what I did.
Nice. Put your
Yeah.
mind to it.
Yeah. Well, I want to go on that, stick with the FIFA stories because, of course, FIFA's still going strong here in America. I think it is for the next week or so.
And be warned that there's going to be another Madonna story later on when the halftime show for FIFA that she's in.
You mean like in an episode to come, not
Yes,
today?
in an episode to come, like in the middle of July at some point.
We lost all the people who hate Madonna. No, they're still watching. They're still watching. Anyway, I want to talk about this. This is really cool. We've talked about FIFA's stringent contracts before with the stadiums that require them to cover up the corporate name of the stadium, which I think is so friggin' stupid. If I was Allegiant Airlines or if I was Levi's or someone and I spent millions of dollars sponsoring a stadium and then they cover it up for the FIFA World Cup because FIFA, that's their rules. Unless they're a sponsor of FIFA, that you're not allowed to have their name anywhere. I think that's just bullshit, and I wouldn't agree to it if I owned the stadium. Anyway,
I hate all things related to corporate America anyway.
it's a little overreach, right? Anyway, it's now being reported. An Instagram page that I follow called Finding Good Ads. They posted all these pictures, which I'll put up on the YouTube video if you guys are watching on YouTube. It's basically they required all of the condiments at the concession stands in the stadiums all the way across the country to cover up the brand names of the ketchup and the mustard and the relish. I mean, it's so ridiculous. So
Why
here's
don't you
some
just
pictures.
put them in a bottle that's nondescript, like an empty clear bottle that doesn't have anything on it?
Or just tell FIFA to go to fucking hell and
Well,
say,
that too. I'm just
yeah,
saying. I feel like it makes more sense if you had to do it to put it in a different container than to get all this tape and cover all these stupid logos.
so dumb. It's so dumb. So of course,
Everybody knows what it is.
right, you can tell from the bottle of ketchup that that's Heinz. Everyone knows it. And so Heinz went with it and they actually put this ad out with their logo covered up. So they're embracing it and they're actually getting a lot of traction over it now. So I thought that was kind of fun. But it's just like, why are people bending over backwards to FIFA and agreeing to these stupid rules? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So
Well, because the
silly.
people with all the money have all the power. That's why.
Yeah, for sure.
And nobody wants to stand up to them.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to stand
More
up
people
for.
need to put their feet down.
Let's put your feet down. Well, I have my feet down because I'm standing up. So they're down. I want to tell you about this. This is really fun and actually pretty exciting for me. I don't know why I'm excited about it, but McDonald's is celebrating America's 250th birthday, which is in about a week and a half, bringing back the classic fried apple pie, which I think is really cool. I didn't know this, Robbie. You and I probably had these when we were younger. They haven't had them in over 3 decades.
That's because everybody burnt their mouth to hell when they bit into one back then. The
mean,
inside was like lava.
It was, but you just let it sit for a minute, and that won't happen. They're bringing it back. That yesterday it came back to stores. So if you guys went to McDonald's yesterday, maybe you saw this. June 23rd. I didn't know this, but the fried apple pie debuted at McDonald's in 1968, but then was replaced with a baked version in 1992. So it's been that long since they've had the fried ones. But surprisingly, this is what I thought was crazy. The baked version has 230 calories, The fried one only has 220 calories, so it's actually better for you.
Funny how that works. Well, sometimes more calories or less calories doesn't necessarily mean better for you.
Well, I'm just trying to make it sound better so that I can
But
justify having it.
so the one that they're bringing back is the fried one, right? Not a baked one.
No, they've had the baked one for the last 30 years, but
Oh,
now
I see what you're saying. So the
Yeah,
baked one has always been available.
yes, now they're bringing back the fried
fried
one
one.
for the 250th birthday. Yeah.
I wonder why they decided to do that and tie it into the 250th birthday. I guess maybe because American is apple pie.
There you go. Oh my goodness.
Nothing says America to me like apple pie and fried food.
From McDonald's.
You know
No,
what?
for-
Just for old time's sake, I probably will order one.
You should. Absolutely.
How long are they going to be available?
Well, nobody knows that. They never say the ending point. They only say the beginning point. So while supplies last, Robbie, while supplies last. But here's interesting news. The fried apple pie has always been available in Hawaii. It's always been available in the UK, Mexico, Greece, Australia, and China. How come we can't have it?
Yeah, can we trade some ranch dressing for the fried apple pie from these places?
Exactly. Other fast food restaurants are doing some 250th birthday celebrations. Burger King has a firecracker cookie pie. Sonic has a red, white, and blue slush float. And Hardee's brought out their Star Spangled Biscuit that has sprinkles on top. Red, white, and blue, I assume.
I'm not that excited about those.
Well, then you don't have to go there.
No.
But I'm going to try. I don't think we have a Sonic or a Hardee's anywhere near us, but we got Burger King.
We don't have Hardee's out here on the West Coast. We have Carl's Jr.
Yeah, that's
Hardee's is the East Coast version of Carl's Jr.
It's the same company, right?
Yeah, but it's the same thing. It's sort of like Rallies and Checkers.
So I bet Carl's Jr. also has the Star Spangled Biscuit.
I
don't want a biscuit with sprinkles on it.
No, I don't either. Biscuits, unless it's a really good biscuit, I don't want to even justify having the calories if it ain't gonna be that good. There was a recent interview with Steven Spielberg. You know, he's promoting Disclosure Day. As we talked last week, we talked about our feelings about that movie. And Steven Spielberg's been pretty game. He's been doing podcasts and, giving interviews to younger people. And
we should have invited him on the Swish edition.
He's also getting candid, just like Madonna is in her interviews. Steven Spielberg's getting kind of candid, and it's kind of fun. Because one thing he did say was he got kind of prickly about speaking about James Bond. He wanted to do James Bond like right after Jaws. He started putting himself out there to be a director of a James Bond film, but the people that produced the films just didn't really take it seriously and didn't really bring him in. So now he's clearly salty about it after all these years, because now he's saying, well, if they came to me now, I would say you can't afford me now.
Probably true.
Which, I mean, it's catty, and I live for this kind of thing. But honestly, why couldn't he have been a James Bond director back then? At some point in the late 70s to early 80s. But I think it was like right after Jaws, maybe like 76, 77. Was that Moonraker or Thunderball era? When was that?
Right around that. Yeah, right around that era. Absolutely.
Maybe Thunderball was more 60s. But For Your Eyes Only, I think was 80. Maybe it was one of those that he was thinking he could do, but no, didn't happen. But he said that he's wanted the gig after seeing the first film, which was 1962's Dr. No, but he never really could understand why they wouldn't hire him. And we don't understand either, Steven. You would have been perfect for the job, but I'm kind of glad you didn't bother, because maybe we wouldn't have gotten Indiana Jones out of the deal, because he told George Lucas about this, not getting any James Bond gigs, and he says, well, forget that, I have something better for you. And that's when he introduced him to Indiana Jones. And fun fact, Indiana Jones was originally called Indiana Smith, which is sort of kind of a well-known fact, but it doesn't roll off the tongue as good as Indiana Jones does.
Well, and maybe if it had been Indiana Smith, that would have sounded right to us. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Indiana
Yeah,
Jones just sounds way better.
such
And,
a great
you know,
name.
he turned down directing some of the Harry Potter movies, but Chris Columbus ended up doing them. Chris
Yeah.
Columbus and Steven Spielberg were colleagues. I think Chris Columbus might have been one of his proteges. But so yeah, there is a, like we said before, there is a new James Bond coming out. It's going to be the 26th film, and I'm going to try not to mess up the name of the director, Scott. It's Dennis Villeneuve. Villeneuve.
Sounds that sounds really
Villeneuve.
good. Yeah.
So he's doing the next James Bond for Amazon, which Amazon needs all the money it can get after what, weren't they the ones that did Masters of the Universe that bombed? I think Amazon is behind that. But we don't know what the new James Bond's going to be called. We don't even know who's going to play James Bond. So when we do find out, we'll bring it up on the show, I'm sure.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to find out who it's gonna
But
be.
yes, I want to hear more interviews where Steven Spielberg is salty about things.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think as people get older and, they have no shits to give, right? And they can just say whatever,
Well, also
and
like
put it all out there.
another thing that does tend to happen is the older you get, if you were holding a grudge against someone, they might have died, and then you don't feel too bad about bringing it up now because they can't come after you,
Yeah,
or I don't know. I know that happens once somebody else passes away. Stories start coming out.
it does. It happens. It happens. Hey, I wanna end on one note because I feel very, very strongly about this issue, and if you guys live in New York City, I want you to call or email or write to your local whoever deals with laws in the friggin' Manhattan. Because last Wednesday, a spooked horse broke free from its driver in Central Park. You know, very famously, they use real horses, horse drawn carriages to take people on scenic routes through the Central Park and even down the streets of Manhattan. This horse got spooked by something, smashed into another horse-drawn carriage, and ended up killing an 18-year-old boy who was a passenger in the other vehicle. This
I think
happened
he was
during
celebrating his graduation too, which makes it
poor
even
kid.
sad.
Makes it even worse. This happened during the ongoing dispute between animal rights activists, politicians, and the Central Park Conservancy against the fucking Carriage Horse Drivers Union. And I say, fuck you, Carriage Horse Drivers Union. We don't
Yes,
need
yes.
you.
It's very archaic. It's very archaic. We need to be done with it. It's animal abuse
It really is. And
to those poor horses.
to have these animals, basically they're slaves, pulling fucking tourists through the park at all
on
hours of the
hard
day and night.
on
Yeah. It's really inhumane.
in the heat and extreme temperatures. New York's not the only city that does this, by the way, but I think they need to ban it outright.
They should ban it everywhere. I've been to Javits Center many times for many different events, and right across the street from the Javits Center, which is the huge convention center on the Hudson River, is where they house these horses at night. Right in the middle of the friggin' city, and I've seen how they live, and I've seen the conditions that they're living in, and it's not pretty. They should not be living in a city. They should be sent out to pasture to live their lives somewhere else. I just think it's horrible. So I hope the mayor, Mondami, I know he wants to ban them from the park, and I don't know why he doesn't just do it. And
They
he
should have been
says,
banned a long time ago, to be honest. I
I
mean, yes,
know,
the idea does seem romantic, and
of
it's like
course,
tradition, but it's not worth it to the
fuck
animals
tradition.
to suffer because we want
Yeah,
something kind of cool like that.
right. It's the same as horse racing, and you know how I feel about horse racing. I refuse
Yes.
to acknowledge that it even exists. But Mumdani says that he wants to work with the drivers union to figure out a way to prevent its members from losing their jobs. Well, they're going to lose their jobs. Guess what?
What
Some
about all the other
industries,
people that lose their jobs for stuff
yeah.
going
What about all the
in the
taxi
way of the
drivers?
dodo because it's outdated?
Yeah. What about all the taxi drivers that are losing their job in the age of Uber and Lyft and autonomous vehicles? I mean, guess what? Things change. You're going to be out of work. So I don't know what to
Yeah.
say any more than that. I hope it gets done. So on that note, we'll wrap up the Swish edition for this week. How's
Yes.
that?
Justice for horses.
Yeah, and ping pong balls out of what was it? A nun's pussy.
You're putting that thing way too close to your mouth for my comfort.
I wanna put it on a plate in my kitchen, and when people come over, I will say, does this ping pong ball smell weird to you? That's like, do you ever go up to someone and say, does my finger smell weird?
No, because I'm not disgusting.
I do that to Dale sometimes, and he refuses to smell it. But I think it's
Good
funny.
for him.
But I get a kick out of it.
I would just straight up walk away from you.
That's true. All right, so this was our last episode for June. Robbie and I will be back again next week when it'll be July 1st. So that'll be fun.
July 1st.
Yeah, man.
And then 2 days after July 1st is when Madonna's new album comes out.
Oh, and so July, what will that be? July 8th. So we'll have to do a whole episode about it.
God, yes. I'm going to have to spend the whole weekend just listening to that album.
Well, you're watching fireworks. There you go.
I probably will somewhere.
Yeah. Well, Robbie has to run. He's got some wine duties to attend to. So
yes, I'm helping out CJ
Yeah.
at his brand new tasting room that just opened for August Forest Wines. So we're
August
doing
Forest
a big
Wines.
party tonight for club members getting their wine. So it's a club release party. And then tomorrow is an industry event for other people in the industry to come and see the new space and taste some wine. And then they're open for business on this Friday. Yes.
I would just like
the
to point out that
26th of June.
neither CJ nor Robbie invited me to the opening. So thank you very much.
Well, we know how much you love coming to openings.
I looked it up. I love openings. I looked it up. It's only a 13.5-hour drive.
That's a long drive.
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
The flights from Vegas are not terrible. There is a direct flight from Vegas to Pasco, which is 45 minutes, maybe an hour away drive.
Yeah. Cool.
Not
All
bad
right,
at
well,
all.
tell CJ that I'm there in spirit, and I have bought his wine in the past, so it is actually quite good. Yeah.
Thanks. I will let them know. And they have some new wines that they've been releasing since the last time you had some. Yeah.
Now you're not going to wear that shirt tonight, are you?
I am not, because I wore it to the summer solstice party on Sunday, and I don't. It's a very memorable shirt. It's my Disney's Robin Hood character shirt, and I get a lot of compliments on it, and people remember it. I'm not going to wear it again so soon.
So when I saw Robbie's Robin Hood shirt, which is, as he knows, is my favorite Walt Disney full-length animated cartoon of all time from 1972, I had to show him my long-playing record of Robin Hood.
That's
so
super cool.
I still have it from when I was a kid, and I had it within reach. I didn't even have to take my earphones out. It was right here.
So when you showed me that earlier, I remember that I had the Jungle Book soundtrack as a kid from,
Nice.
I think it was the late 60s, Jungle Book 67 or 68. And that was an interesting soundtrack. We listened to it so much that the record got all scratched up. But it was a picture disc. And I always remember looking at it, thought it was so cool. And we also had Fraggle Rock album and Chipmunk album. I'm sure my mom loved listening to the Chipmunk.
Those were both after my time. I was too old for those, but you are 12 years younger than me, so
yeah. I mean, Fraggle Rock was a big deal for me and my brother. We were huge Fraggle Rock fans.
Down at Fraggle Rock.
Yes.
Down at Fraggle Rock. That was HBO, right?
Super big deal for us in our house.
Yeah.
It was HBO, and then syndication. I think they got put on TNT or TBS, or I think it was TNT.
And I thought they were bringing it back. Aren't they bringing it back?
I think they should just leave it alone, because
it's really just a lot of stuff alone.
It's a space and time that's special for that time period of the early 80s. Just bring back the old episodes and I'll watch them.
All right. Well, we could talk and talk and talk and talk, but we have to go. So we have things to do.
I gotta go. I gotta run. I gotta go pour some wine.
He just literally has to do it. All right. We'll see you guys next week.
The Swish Edition is a production of Bethwick Media, LLC. Learn more about the show at swishedition.com. And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast app or site. But only if you like us.
Dorky. I'm a dorky.